Hey everybody, I'm Ethan,
And I'm Bethany.
and welcome to That One Show with the Newmans. Today we're doing a bit of a live podcast, if you can't tell the comfortable setting that we've got here. So this is actually going to be our first episode of our Do You Believe in Ghosts? So what we're going to be doing in this episode is we're just going to kind of share ghost stories. Really, that's the key thing with it.
Yeah.
This is all unscripted. We didn't even have an outline on how this is supposed to go.
I mean, do we really ever have a way that things are supposed to go and they work out?
No, I mean we've tried a script before and it's gone completely left field.
Yeah.
So or that was right. So right field or left field. But yeah, just make sure you let us know that you're in here. Say hi in the chat, and we'll answer questions at different segments of this episode because we are going to be publishing this as a podcast as well. So.
Oh, do you want to be in charge of? Actually, you know what? We're gonna let Newman over here be in charge of the computer.
Oh. All right. Well, looks like I get the computer
Since
now.
I'm not the best with the computer.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and. Okay, Dakota started off already saying he does believe in ghosts. So.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Let me get. I'm gonna get this set up to where we can actually see the chat a little bit easier.
Which is why I'm not doing the chat right now.
Right. So this, yeah, I just said right as if. Okay, there we go. So
Oh, okay.
I have the comments over here.
That makes more sense. Awesome.
So, I guess we'll just go ahead and start off with the big question of the day for you. Do you believe in ghosts?
Absolutely. Ghosts is something I will say I've always believed in, but I've always told myself they're not real, they're not real, they're not real. My Nana actually was the one who kind of got me into believing in that kind of thing. She was very firm in her beliefs about certain things, and that's kind of where it all stemmed from. What about you?
Well, hold up. I got some questions. So how did she get you started into believing ghosts? I mean, surely she didn't just say, hey, there's ghosts, and you're like, oh, you know what? I believe.
Okay, so this is going to be a probably really weird story. So my Nana had 2 dogs, Bear and Pugsley, and after they passed away, she said she would leave out their food and water bowl that they had always used, and she said you could hear them coming down the hallway because they had, their collars, and they would jingle as they would come down the hallway. She said she saw them. Those were her babies, basically. So one night, we were spending the night at my Nana's house, and I hear this jingle coming down the hallway. Her dogs had been gone for a very long time at that point.
Gone as in deceased?
Yes. Like,
okay.
They had passed away. And you just hear this jingling coming down the hallway. I'm pretty sure my parents thought I was losing my mind and I was dreaming and that kind of thing. But I would talk to my Nana about it, and she was like, I told you, Bear and Pugsley are still here. They will always be here. They're watching over the house, and that's just kind of how she looked at it.
So dogs got you believing in ghosts?
Yes, the jingling dog collar is what kind of started it off for me.
That's funny because whenever there's ghosts and whenever you think of ghosts, you don't start off by saying ghosts. Okay, dogs.
Animal ghost is not, I guess, as commonly talked about in really anything, but that is actually what started me off with the ghost dogs.
Right.
Now, what about you? Do you believe in ghosts?
Mine's complicated.
Yours is complicated.
Yeah, so if me and my belief for ghosts was a Facebook relationship, it would show up as it's complicated.
Oh, it's complicated.
Yes. So I'll start off by going back.
Oh, hey, Lauren.
Let's just start off with a few years ago and my belief system for the paranormal. So a few years ago, if you'd have asked me that question, no, not at all. Not at all. Ghosts are fake. Spirits aren't a thing. Once you die, you die. You either go to heaven or you go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that I do believe in. and everyone has their own religious beliefs, but that's mine. So
Yeah.
now, whenever you talk about paranormal, that's where it gets a little touchy now, because a few years ago I'd have said absolutely not, but funny thing happened about 6 months ago, give or take.
You were so welcome for this lovely experience.
Yeah, yes, this lovely experience. So, if y'all can't tell, right now
You're wearing.
I'm wearing a shirt. It's My Haunted Fowler, and that's located in Fowler, Indiana. One of the biggest groups up there that represent the Fowler is 765 Paranormal, which is her brother's paranormal group. Well, they had invited me to go on a paranormal investigation at the Fowler jail. And I was just like, okay, let's do this. I don't believe in any sort of paranormal, so prove me wrong. And I guess they really wanted to prove me wrong. So we drive, what is it, 5 hours, 6 hours?
5.5, 6 hours.
So we drive all the way up there, 5.5, 6 hours to Lafayette, Indiana, which is actually where they're located. Fowler is about
20, 30 minutes out.
20 to 30 minutes out.
It's not. I don't think it's that far.
Well, either way. So I go up there. We both go up there and started off with a chili dinner, which was nice. The chili was amazing.
Go Dwight.
Yeah, thanks, Dwight. And then we followed that by going to the Fowler jail. The Fowler jail, I'll let you kind of speak more about the Fowler jail. You may know a little bit more of the history than I do.
It's just your typical older jail. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this place. Just your typical old jail. It had a section where I believe like the sheriff would live with his family. It was a house, like an old house, and the jail was in the back part, and then you had kind of like the jailer's quarters in a sense, where they had like a kitchen, their evidence room. Upstairs was where the sheriff would live with his family. I'm trying to think of how else to explain it.
Yeah, it was one of those really old school jails where it was a jail and house all in one. The sheriff and his family lived there, and then downstairs was the jail.
And then in the cell block, you just had like the rec room, cell block, and then upstairs you had another 2 cell blocks, and that was about it. Now
there's a padded room.
Oh yeah, there is a padded room. You go down the hall in one of the cell blocks, and there's a little padded room where somebody over here had a little fun with.
Well, thank you for the history on that. I mean, it's an old jail, and yeah, so we went over there, which the inside of the jail was just freezing cold. I mean, it was I wore gloves and everything, but outside it was like 60 degrees, I think. It wasn't too bad because we ended up having to pause our investigation for a tornado warning.
Yeah.
So the weather was different. It was actually, I think, warmer there than it was down here in Tennessee.
I don't remember that much. I just know it was cold in the jail.
Yeah, I think we had gotten the thermal. Yeah, I want to say it was cold down here, but yeah, it was super cold in the jail. And they had tornado sirens and all that stuff. Anyhow, we go into the jail, and they hand me a flashlight, and they hand me a recorder that said, "Here, you can hold on to this." We did a few different things. We used a spirit box. Didn't really get much of anything on there. Actually, I don't think we got anything at all on there. And then we started to do these flashlight sessions upstairs. I think this was actually up in the attic that we had done the first flashlight session, and we didn't have anything. It was just a really quiet night. So we finally go back down to the cell blocks, and they were just talking about going and sitting in this padded cell, and they're just discussing it. And I'm like, well, instead of just discussing it, I'll go. Whatever. There's no ghost, so I'll go. No problem.
And I want to preface this with, he is the biggest skeptic I think I've ever met in my life when it comes to stuff like, or I should say, was the biggest skeptic when it comes to stuff like this. So he was so just willing to do. We could have said, we're going to lock you in a basement for 6 hours by yourself, and he probably would have went for it. Like, okay, whatever. It is what it is.
I'd still go for it.
You'd still go.
Yeah,
no, this
because
is true.
I still am the biggest skeptic, but my mind is more open.
Yes.
So we go ahead and set up in this padded cell, and they give me the flashlight, they give me the recorder, and I hold on to it, and then I just start asking all kinds of questions. I start off with the generic stuff. Like, is anybody here? Are you there? Say something. Turn my flashlight off. And at first there wasn't a whole lot of anything. But it didn't take very long though. A few minutes into it, my flashlight just kind of flickers off. I'm like, okay, well, coincidence, surely, because it didn't really go with any questions. It just kind of flickered. I was like, all right, cool. So I start to ask some questions. Like, okay, is there somebody there? If you are, turn the flashlight off. And probably about 5-10 seconds later, flashlight goes off.
And I want to explain, for the best that I'm going to be able to explain this, flashlight sessions is what we call them, flashlight sessions. So you take a flashlight and you unscrew the top just a little bit and you set it down on a flat surface, just like a hard flat surface. And what we do, people could say all day long, like, well, somebody bumped it. We usually bang on the surface that it's on to make sure that the flashlight doesn't turn on and off by itself. So what it does is that... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, no, since I'm the biggest skeptic, I banged the crap out of that flashlight. It didn't mess up or nothing. Mm-hmm. So...
And the spirits are supposed to be able to use their energy to make that loose connection and turn the lights on and off, which I have seen done many times, and I have seen done many times very accurately to questions that have been asked, different questions, things that we've said, things that we've asked it to do, have been very spot on.
Right.
So I'm confident in, like, your flashlight session, for instance.
Right, yeah, and the thing is, and I was actually kind of mistelling my story a little bit, because I was saying that I was asking the ghost or spirit to turn the flashlight off, but really it was already off. It was actually turning it on. Thanks for jogging my memory.
You're welcome.
So I had asked it to turn it on, and then sure enough, turned on. And keep in mind, I banged the crap out of this flashlight because, I wanted to make sure that if there was any sort of spirit, then guess what? Okay, prove it. I wanted it to prove it. So, with that being said, I was like, okay, hey guys, this light, it just came on. Guys, I'm in the padded cell by myself. Come here.
I think we were all lined up in the hallway just watching you do this flashlight session. Because it was not a very big hallway, mind you. There was enough room for 2 smaller people to walk side by side with each other, kind of down the rows. And we were all, like, bunched up right in front of the door watching you do this.
Oh, the rookie's in here, the newbie. Go ahead and put him in here. Let's sit here and giggle.
Oh, that was great, though. And you got great responses. You've got...
Oh, absolutely.
And then we got the EVP, too.
Yes, we'll get into that EVP here in a few moments. Because we started having some very intelligent interactions with this flashlight session. And not only that, but we also started having consistency in these answers. Mm-hmm. So we started asking all the generic stuff. Are you a male or are you a female? It was a male. Are you old? Are you young? We narrowed it down to, I think it was his early 20s, I think right around, or maybe even 18 or 19.
I don't remember the exact details on that.
I think it was 18 or 19, one or the other. Very young adult. And then we had gotten it down to
Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank y'all. We had gotten it down to where.
We got the real MVP over
Oh
here.
yeah, we got the real MVP viewing. So.
My mom's on here viewing, so she's the real MVP. Right
Okay,
now.
so we've changed this from rated R to PG.
No, G.
Oh, G.
G.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, we were just ran right in front of the camera.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry.
Oh, and I'm about to watch it. And here she goes.
Yeah, we do have a
All
flash
right.
and battery over here.
Oh, okay. Well, just a heads up. If the video cuts out, we are apologizing in advance. There's a possibility the video may cut out, but the audio will still go on and the show will still go on. So,
and I do, if anybody wants to put their ghost stories or any of their experiences down here in the comments, so we can read them.
Yeah, definitely.
When I just watched in front of the camera again.
Yep.
When we help me out here.
Yeah. Okay. So whenever we get to the point to where we're done talking about our stuff, we'd love to talk about y'all's ghost stories as well. So go ahead and put them in the chat now, and then once we get to that point, we'll start reading them and discussing them as well.
Yep.
So be as detailed as possible too, because a three sentence story is going to be really quick to go over.
Yeah.
So, I saw a ghost. It was at my nan's.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So not much to go off of on that. But anyway, so going back to my story, we were able to determine that this spirit was arrested for a possible,
heinous crime.
Yeah, heinous crime, I guess is the best way to word it. So we had, it was really kind of eerie, and I was like, okay, cool. That makes sense why he's in a padded cell. So.
The padded cell was definitely...
It's very eerie.
Creepy. Yeah, very creepy.
Yeah, because and the whole time that we're in there, the oh, okay, that sounds good, Dakota.
That'll work.
We'll catch it on next time. What's that? What is that? Is that an EV? What's the meter?
The EMF detector?
EMF detector, yes.
Or the EMF reader.
Or EMF reader, whatever you want to call it. So the entire time we were in the padded cell, we were reading a very high EMF.
And that's electromagnetic field. That's what it
for those of you
judges.
who don't know what EMF is. So we were reading very high the whole time, which is why we selected the padded cell and why I kind of volunteered for the padded cell. And everyone just happily and willingly let me. And we found out quite a bit of information on this. Well, fast forward about a week later to where, it may not even have been a week later, we came home and I just plugged the computer up and everything and put the flash drive into the computer, and I started listening to some of these recordings that we had gotten. Specifically the ones during my flashlight session. And there's one specific instance that it just made my jaw drop, and that's whenever I fully became, okay, you know what, maybe they're spirits. That may be a real thing. And that's, we listened to it, and I asked a question, something along the lines of, we were halfway through the conversation, and the spirit had stopped responding, and I had said something along the lines of, I need you to respond right now, or I'm leaving. And there wasn't much of a response, and then another one of the investigators that was with us had said, well, I guess they're not very good at taking directions. And my flashlight flickered a little bit. And I was like, okay, so I see you're there, so turn the light on or off, whichever one it was, to let me know that you are still here, and I will stay and talk to you. And then the light completely shut off. So pulling up that recording, at that exact instant, whenever the light flickered, you could hear, it sounded kind of like keys slowly jingling, as if you had it on like your waist.
Like what you sound like when you walk around at work.
What I sound like, because I got like the whole janitor key ring kind of thing going on. So you just hear step, step, and the jingle's going with the step. And then right whenever the light had cut completely, I think it was off.
Mhm.
In the recording, you hear it sounds like they're fumbling the keys trying to get it into the jail cell. And after it cut off like that, I was like, all right. Okay, you got me. You got me.
And it is hard when you've never had. And I will say, even I think one experience does it for a lot of people. Not, okay, I'm gonna have to have multiple experience. Like, I think a lot of times you have one experience and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit more open-minded to this. Or like when we went to the Fowler this last time, which is this beautiful theater. It's amazing. If anybody ever has a chance to go there and check it out, it's wonderful. We are actually doing a huge convention in
sponsorship
August.
time. We're about to start advertising.
We are. Well, I am. I am super proud of the paranormal group that I am a part of. I am beyond blessed that I get to be a part of such an amazing team. I call them my para family. They are my second family. And we are doing a huge convention in August. We're going to have booths set up, and we're doing a group private investigation of the theater at the jail and Eddard Tire, which used to be an old opera house. So, for anybody who wants to travel to Fowler in August, let us know so we can get you guys sent that way.
Yeah, it'll totally be worth it. You'll see it on our page. We'll start sharing if we haven't already. I think we've already shared some of the, what is it, Freak Out at the Fowler or Freak Out Fowler or something.
Yeah, you asked me and I just drew a blank.
Yeah, go figure. That's how it works. But I know we have shared at least one, so go ahead and go down to through our Facebook feed. You'll see it. It's August 17th.
Yes.
And that's in Fowler, Indiana. Definitely look into it. It's 765 Paranormal is an amazing group of people. I've really enjoyed my experience with them, and countless others have enjoyed their experiences with them as well. And I mean, 765 it's not a brand new paranormal group. They've been around for years. They're just about one of the biggest ones in at least central Indiana.
So I love my group, and I would, obviously we love doing this kind of stuff. That's why we're a part of this group. So, like I said, if anybody wants to check stuff out, let us know. But no, I mean, I've had experiences when I've been with the group.
So tell me all about it.
You've had experiences. Well, there's one place that still freaks me out, and it probably will always freak me out. If my brother's listening to this, he will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's... Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, well, I guess you can do your story real quick.
Actually, no. I want to read a story.
All right, so we have a story from Jeremy Ross.
All right, Jeremy, so I'm going to read your story. So...
Let's get that.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. So, me and Kayla have an interesting story on Cedar Street here in Dover. She constantly felt a cold, clammy presence around her. She was thumbing through tarot cards that night. I'm a big believer that most of these type of occurrences are hysteria. She was convinced and hid in the car for hours. It got so bad we had to keep the tarot cards out of the house. Plus, the house had items still in the garage by people who were deceased. It has a back room that seems to have negative energy. I feel I am not as sensitive to these things, but some are. Interesting. Like, super interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, wow. This is when we need Stephanie here, who's one of the, experts that I go to with, tarot cards.
Right, yeah. And if Stephanie is watching, then feel free to chime in on some of your input. But yeah, see, that's just crazy. I mean, and it goes to show you too the differences from one person's beliefs to another. Kayla felt this very strong presence, and yet Jeremy was just kind of like, whatever.
So I don't know if Jeremy's still on here. Yes, he is.
Yes.
So do you feel like the tarot cards were making whatever there is mad, angry, or do you just kind of think it was I'm trying to think of the word, just a coincidence that it happened around the same time of the tarot cards.
Yeah, and which, due to our live stream, it's about 20 seconds behind.
Yeah.
20 to 30 seconds behind, so we may not get a response immediately. So we'll go on and continue to talk about this. But so what are your thoughts on the mixed emotions? What are your thoughts as to the wait, what was the mixed emotions to? For him, I think?
If he thought that the tarot cards made
Okay.
the spirit
Gotcha.
or energy, entity.
Gotcha.
And you will hear me call spirits, energies, entities, probably those three things, just because I do feel like some things are just energy, where I do feel as others are entities that have a little bit more of a presence than anything else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Now, is there any particular reason that, what are your thoughts on the tarot cards specifically influencing not the feeling of, just the negative, whatever it was?
Okay, so
Clammy presence.
So my theory on it would be that either there might have been an energy there that did not mix well with those tarot cards.
Right.
Because I do believe that when you are using tarot cards, you are putting your energy into those cards to use them how they're meant to be used, or what you want them to do for you. Kind of like when you meditate, you put your energy, what you want to get out of it.
Right.
So maybe that entity or energy didn't mesh well with the energy being put out, or that entity didn't like tarot cards. I mean, in my opinion, there could be a lot of different things going with that.
Right, yeah, and I don't know a whole lot about tarot cards myself. We actually have a friend that's kind of like our go-to expert, Stephanie.
She's like my guru. Like,
yeah,
that's what she is to me.
Right. You can find her on Facebook, Rune in the Rune.
No.
Rune in the Moon. Rune in the Moon. That's it. Rune in the Rune.
I'm going to have her get on to you for that.
Oh,
it's
God.
Rune in the Moon.
Yeah, Rune in the Moon. My tongue got tied, okay? So, yeah.
And Jeremy,
Rune
feel
in
free
the
to kind
Moon.
of chime in if you agree, disagree, kind of want to chat with us about it. I'm all for that.
Right.
I definitely want to be interactive as I walk back in front of the camera again.
Yeah. So, the experiences I've had with the tarot cards, I've only had one reading, and it was done by Rune in the Moon, Stephanie, and it was actually very accurate in my opinion, and which I guess it's based on what your, I guess, open-mindedness is towards it as well. But everything made sense. The cards made sense. The readings made sense, and she knew stuff that there's no way she knew, because it wasn't stuff that I told her about. I mean, she went back to like freaking high school on me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know her back in high school. So, yeah, there's a lot of strange things coming up in my life now. I mean, ever since I got in touch with your brother's paranormal group, it's like, okay, here's a bunch of strange for you, Newman.
Well, I just feel like and I am I'm not going to get like too deep into like certain things that I believe, just because we are talking about ghosts this little go around. But I do believe in energy that people put off or give off.
Right.
When people say, well, I have a bad feeling about them, to me, I almost read it as like they have a lot of negative energy.
Right.
Kind of thing. So I just feel like it's some of the energy that we might put off when we're all together. You
that
mix
may
us
be
all
it.
together and we just put off a lot of energy. Like, that's just, I think that's just who we all are when we get together.
Right. No, that may be it. And see, which I really need somebody from 765 to get on this podcast, and that way we can get some more of that energy drawn up into this.
What was that?
camera cut off, just so y'all know.
Okay. Well, what was that I just heard?
Thunder? Maybe?
See, look, y'all. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Our camera cut out. I just heard this giant boom, and if anybody else is where we're at heard that, please let me know.
Yeah, so bear with me real quick. I'm just going to put the thing on here real quick for some more juice. And then I'm going to get y'all a picture to look at, so I'm not looking at a black screen.
All right, do you want me to read Casey's story?
Yeah, go ahead and do that while I get this.
All right, so there's hey, Lauren. All right, so there's a lady that passed away in the house I live in that apparently loved flowers. She drew flowers all over this house. I don't want to butcher the name. Romy will be playing and just all of a sudden look somewhere and start waving and smiling. Every time after she waves, she will go and find her stuffed flower and play with it. It's happened 3 times and I think it's sweet. Aww, that is actually super sweet. I mean, I would be okay with that. I really would. Yeah, I really would. I would be totally okay with that. Like flowers and I believe some people leave behind just positivity and sunshine wherever they go, kind of thing.
Right. Okay. So I didn't realize there's there's that. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was just adjusting the picture so y'all have something to look at. Anyhow, she drew flowers. I guess I missed some of that because I was too busy having fun on the computer.
No, because Ethan doesn't listen.
Yeah, and I don't multitask. That's the issue. My biggest issue is I do not multitask.
Was that thunder?
Could be. I don't know.
Okay, we're just gonna say y'all that was thunder.
Ruled out as thunder.
I'm gonna say that Jeremy's creepy was to the camera cutting off, the big boom, and me having a mini heart attack.
This house shouldn't be haunted, by no means. I mean, maybe it is. I mean, of course, go figure. We don't have any sort of weird oddities happen until we get on a live stream, and then our camera gets drained and all that.
You said yes, it was.
Oh, it's Eagle Fest.
Oh.
They're shooting fireworks off.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what?
So
look, see, we got, you guys listen. It's funny, because I am probably the biggest, Ethan can vouch for this, I am the biggest scaredy cat
you will
ever meet in your entire life. Bless our daughter's heart, because she took after her mother.
Bless your heart, too.
But I just think it's funny that I'm in a paranormal group, and I'm the biggest scary cat of all of it.
So we got this world's biggest scaredy cat, and then she's in a freaking paranormal group. Yeah, so let's go back to Casey's story. So that's which, I mean, that's wild that you live in a house where someone had passed away. I mean, that's.
And then, she goes and finds her stuffed flower and plays with it. I think that's so sweet.
Who finds the flowers? Romy? I'm gonna assume that's what the name, Romy. That is.
And I think that's what I said, and I hope
really
I did
sweet.
not butcher it.
Now, with that being said, why do you think Romy stops playing and just starts looking somewhere and waving?
What, me?
Yeah, absolutely. You're the one that's more into this paranormal thing than I am. I'm the skeptic.
I don't know. I just think there might be a presence there that, I mean, she feels maybe they want this flower.
Right.
Somebody really liked flower, because, I do believe that children are a little bit more, aww. Oh, yay, we said it right. Okay.
Oh.
Thank goodness.
We said it right. Okay, just
my
for those of you.
My name's been butchered my whole life, so I hate butchering people's names. I hate it.
Hey, I caught it the first time. You're welcome. So for the...
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
So Casey says that she believes that children can see more than we do. And I agree with that thought, because I believe that they're probably a lot more sensitive to really anything. they don't have that strong will just yet that's developed that's, telling them, what's right and what's wrong.
Well, and it's not, and this is how I look at it. It's not scary to them because us as adults are watching The Conjuring and Annabelle and Lord knows what else.
I see dead people.
Yeah, and I almost said Rings.
Sixth Sense?
Yes, thank you. We kind of have that blocker in our brain that's like, okay, that's scary. If I tell myself it's not real, it'll go away. Where kids they're just so open-minded that I think they're more susceptible to stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why I refuse to have a video baby monitor in either children's room.
See a pooky ghost.
Because I don't want to see if they're playing with anything, talking anything. I don't want to know.
I already see it now, and just because it's you, I already know what would happen. You would just randomly check on our kid, and you'd just, I'll pull up video monitor. Babe? Yes, dear. Kinsley's walking on the ceiling.
Because that would be what happens.
What? She's levitating from the crib.
And I do believe that, especially I think cats are very...
I hate cats.
Sensitive to everything. But I do think animals as well are very susceptible to feeling, seeing certain things. I love cats, but I am deathly allergic, so...
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Cats can be cute. Can be, is my word for it. But every cat that I have almost come in contact with just loves to puncture my skin with their claws. Never fails.
Maybe they sense your energy and they don't like it because they're more susceptible.
What the heck? Well, you know what? Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. Because the way I look at it is I started off with an open mind towards those kitties, and then they ruined it by puncturing my skin.
Jeremy said cats rock. I mean, I want a hairless cat so I can name him Schmeagle, but that's a completely different subject.
What is that? My precious. Is that it? My precious.
I'd get a hairless cat and name him Schmeagle. I think hey, if anybody thinks it's a great idea, if I could get this video to get, I don't know, I'm going to do that. If I can get a certain video to get so many likes and shares, then I get a hairless cat and I get to name him Schmeagle.
Yep, and then you get to move out into the office. Out in the backyard.
I think that's a great idea. To get me a naked cat and name him Schmeagle.
And then to move into the office in the backyard, right?
No.
I'll set you up an air mattress in the loft.
But back to the ghost instead of my cat dream of Mr. Schmeagle. Now, your mother believed in, didn't she do tarot cards and things like that?
Yeah, she dabbled in tarot cards for a little bit, but...
Did you ever have any experiences here when y'all lived here?
Well, you're probably asking the wrong person just because during that time I would have been more of a... Nope, nothing happened because there's no such thing as ghosts. I was... even more skeptic than what I am now.
Back then?
Yeah, I mean, back then I just didn't believe anything at all.
Was there anything that you were like, that wasn't anything that you think back, thinking back now, you're like,
I can't quite say, really, because, see, the tarot card thing, if I remember correctly, was before we lived in this house.
Okay.
So, I would say that there probably wasn't much of anything here. We had some. We've heard there's been rumors there's been stuff around town that we've heard, the Civil War battlefield is supposedly haunted. There's been folks that say that they've seen people at night.
Do you think the battleground is haunted?
I honestly think that
where your beliefs are and skepticism
where my
is.
beliefs are now, I would say that there's definitely I think some spirits in the battlefield, because looking back and thinking back,
hey Sedona,
I believe that, when I was in high school, the park didn't used to close at nighttime. Well, it was closed, but there wasn't a gate blocking.
I bet Donna's got some good stories that my Nana's probably had about spiritual, spooky encounters. Because my Nana used to actually do, the 1-800, oh my gosh,
Oh, the fortune teller?
Yes, y'all can't see what I'm making a crystal ball with my hands.
Yeah, sorry, the camera's still dead. We're going to charge it up for a little bit and see if we can
Which I'm kind of glad nobody had to witness that. But my Nana used to call those all the time, and I'm telling y'all, she was such a big believer in that kind of stuff. But she used to call stuff like that all the time.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, again, anybody that's joining into this live stream, if you've got any ghost stories, definitely tell us. Give us your stories, detail it, and we'll go over it. And
yeah.
Jeremy Ross has a very good question for us. Purgatory, what's your opinion? I'll let you start there, dear.
Okay, so
ladies first.
I'm trying to think of how to, because I do feel like this kind of goes in with ghosts.
Yeah, it's almost a religion type thing, but it's also a ghost spirit type thing as well.
So this is kind of like how I view purgatory, in the sense of the veil, if you will. When people are stuck, I feel like that's, in a sense, that's where they are, and that's why they're stuck. Because I do believe some spirits are stuck. I do believe some hauntings are residual, so in the sense that it's just so much energy of somebody making a pot of coffee every morning at 8 o'clock for 60 years in the same house, in the same spot every single day. But I feel like spirits that you can communicate with and talk to, I feel like those are trapped in, I guess, what you would call purgatory.
Right, yeah. And
what about you?
As far as I go, and Jeremy's priest still believes highly in purgatory, so, which I can understand that. My belief in purgatory is a little bit different, and it's a little strange actually, because I've got a couple different theories as to purgatory and how it works. One of my biggest theories, though, is that we are in purgatory. Since, as in purgatory, the middle layer between heaven and hell, I think we're in purgatory right now, all of us. And the reason for that is I believe that whatever decisions we make in this life, in purgatory, I'm doing air quotes, you can't see it, in purgatory, decides whether or not we are going to go either to heaven or to hell. I don't think that it's set up to where, we decide to screw up right now and then we get sent to purgatory, and then we decide, then they decide, or it's decided if we go to heaven or hell that way. That to me, it seems like an extra step. And Bethany has her hand up. Yes.
Me over here. Okay, so not to cut you off, but I do have a question. So, if you believe in spirits, let's say you're just so open-minded and you're like, spirits are real, where are they?
Well, quite frankly, spirits, I believe,
or
ghosts. I'd say they're stuck in the same realm as us. It's just whether their energy is strong enough to make their self appear or not. I mean, because I don't think it's like a completely different dimension that they go off to. I just think that they have not left purgatory yet. Their body is deceased, and now they're roaming around waiting to either go to heaven or go to hell.
So you think they're stuck?
I think that they may be stuck. Yeah. But, I don't think that it's like a completely different dimension that they go to and that they just pop in whenever, they get some strong energy, because that, I don't know, it just doesn't make much sense to me. I think they're all in the same dimension as us, because, you think of like a poltergeist, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Poltergeist can move stuff. I don't think that they're traveling through a different dimension to move stuff. I think that they're still in this dimension, and they just have enough energy to move stuff.
Now, Jeremy, what's your take, I guess, on purgatory, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, we'd like to get your opinion. Well, and everybody else's too. What's your opinion on purgatory?
And I will say, like, I want to make it a point that our podcast that we do, any of the live videos that we do, this is a big judgment-free zone.
Yep.
I love people being able to have a place where they can talk about what they believe in and not be judged for it or not taken seriously for it.
Absolutely. Anybody in our live, in any of our live broadcasts that we do, if anyone is hateful, we will immediately ban whoever it is.
Just because, it has taken me, I guess, a while to come out of my paranormal closet, if you will. Just because, just because I have been, I guess, and I'm going to be completely transparent and honest, that I have been concerned about what other people will think of my views and, certain things. But I have found that when I have been able to more freely talk about how I believe and how I feel about certain things, I've been a much happier person just because I'm being, I guess, true to myself and true to my beliefs.
Right. Yeah, and I know that we named this episode "Do You Believe in Ghosts?" But I mean, we go off tangent all the time.
Oh my gosh, it's
so
bad.
Just because the title is "Do You Believe in Ghosts?" don't think that we're gonna stay talking just about ghosts.
Now,
that's the premise.
Our podcasts are very much on topic. Now, our lives...
As we try. We try to keep it on topic.
But our lives definitely go, like...
Well, with podcasts, pre-recorded podcasts, you can delete everything.
We can edit so much stuff. Like, if we talk about something that, like, I don't know.
We just did one not long ago. We went way off topic. It took us, like, 4 hours to record a 25-minute long podcast.
It took us, like, 15 minutes to record our intro. I'm telling you guys, I think we do much better with lives.
Well, the energy's better,
It's so much better. Because we know we can go back and delete stuff on the podcast where we know we can't.
No. You know that we can delete stuff in a pre-recorded podcast. Don't put this on this is not a we thing. This is all you.
No, this is true.
Because that's why we flow so nicely in a live, because you're not like, oh, I don't know if I would say that. I would word it this way. Oh, well, hold up.
Or I don't like how my voice sounds. Delete that whole 15-minute take of what I was just talking about. Let's re-record it.
Ethan, are you aware that you had a 5-second pause? You should probably delete that.
I am the worst. I know we're going to have to do a blooper reel.
Biggest one from the last podcast. Ethan, I wouldn't say the word common. I'd say popular. And it's just like, but I've already recorded 5 minutes after that. Well, we should probably redo it all. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. So we're going to have to do a blooper reel for everybody who listens to the podcast about how...
Well, we're going to have to start keeping everything rather than deleting it.
I guess we have to keep stuff. Okay.
So Jeremy says, going back to the purgatory conversation, he says, I believe in it. I believe the spirits linger around the old homes and possessions. My religious view on judgment and afterlife definitely makes me believe in the biblical interpretation of purgatory. I feel we leave imprints in on our lives and that it is part of that. Mm-hmm. And forgive me for reading like a 5th grader or a 4th grader, because the text is a little bit smaller and, we've got the chat screen a little ways away from us.
I also think that's a very good viewpoint about purgatory. I really do.
Absolutely. And the thing about my belief is I'm probably wrong. just saying. Which, I guess contrary to everybody else's, like 80-90% of everybody's probably wrong. Just because we don't know. Mm-hmm. None of us know. I mean, we're going off of the Bible on that with that aspect.
And some people go off different things, different texts, different beliefs, and
absolutely.
Viewpoints. So I do think, but I love that everybody kind of has different takes on it, because it
Right.
does kind of make you think like, oh, like that's, that makes sense, or that's a super interesting way to look at it.
Well, just you okay?
I'm
Looked
good.
like okay. She looked like she was falling backwards,
No, I'm
but
good.
she caught herself
I did.
with the metal thing. Anyways, I mean, it's just like with any sort of religious book of any sort. Everyone, and just about everyone, interprets it differently. That's why, like in the Christian religion, you've got pastors that they preach their interpretation of it, which they have more knowledge of the theology with that. So they're probably better skilled at interpreting than
And
the average
everybody
Joe.
interprets things differently. Even like if we're going back to the ghost thing, like evidence that certain people get. People interpret that differently. I cannot tell you how many times, and I probably watched this show, I will say, an insane amount of episodes I've watched, and how many times I rewatch episodes of Ghost Adventures. People even, like, let's say with Ghost Adventures, and use that as an example. People interpret the evidence that they find differently. I, maybe interpret something one way, where you, Mr. Skeptic over here, interprets it a completely different way. So, I even feel like with ghosts and, things like that.
Yeah, and like with the interpretation of the evidence, I will say that the evidence that we had on that EMF that we had, or EMF, like on the recording that we had, one thing is very clear. Everybody that had listened to that piece of evidence that we had captured on recording heard keys. It was very clear keys.
Oh, it was clear as day.
I mean, there's like no other. I mean, you know how keys sound. That's exactly how it sounded. Wasn't anything else. Jeremy, you believe in Sasquatch. You don't know why. Well, we don't either. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to know, like, what kind of your, I guess, beliefs on that are. Just because I guess I've never been into the, like, Bigfoot, werewolf, vampires. Not that I haven't been interested in those things.
Right, and we just did an episode on vampire lore.
Yes.
So, which actually, it's ironic. First question I would have for you is Sasquatch Bigfoot, or vice versa, are they the same entity? Because a lot of people believe that Sasquatch is, is the same entity as Bigfoot, the reptilian. Like the reptilian Sasquatch, I think. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, we're doing lore, and actually, whenever we were looking into doing a episode on lore, Bigfoot was actually the very first one we looked at before we looked at vampires. But then we decided to do vampires instead for whatever reason. So you can count on a episode of Bigfoot to be coming soon. Reptile people.
Okay.
Now, is that something that you believe in, along with shapeshifters?
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
shapeshifters. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's like a lot of. So you are definitely into. I'm going to assume you're super into lore.
Yeah, if you're super into lore, then you're at the right place there, buddy.
Oh my gosh, yes, we're going to be doing so many podcasts on different types of lore.
Yeah, we're doing
anything from like Slender Man to werewolves to, I mean, like we can do.
Well, I think we're probably going to be doing reptilian, Sasquatch, and shapeshifters here soon.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely. And I think actually where we are at, isn't there a
Bigfoot? Bigfoot up here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a notorious claim of Bigfoot, and we certainly will be getting a lot of research done on that type of stuff. And for some of our shows, we'll also, as Jeremy has actually asked, we will actually be having guests come in on our shows for sure.
That is something we want to get people involved in this.
Yeah, because this is we're gonna try to be as much of a crowd-based podcast as possible. You know, this show doesn't work without the audience, and sometimes that means bringing the audience in to the show.
I'm totally cool with. You know, I enjoy getting different people's opinions and getting to like sit down with people and just talk about it.
Yeah, even over the phone or Skype
yeah,
or
over the
whatever.
phone, Skype. I mean, you know, that kind of thing too. Because I know.
I'm gonna try and get that camera back on.
My brother wants to do one for sure too, which I don't know what we're gonna do with him. And I think we are actually doing one Monday.
I think no, it's I think
next Monday. You know, we're gonna be a guest on
Rune in the Moon.
Rune in the Moons. You know, one of her videos. So we're super excited about it. But no, lore is definitely something we like talking about too. I'm a big researcher. I love doing research. I don't know why I didn't go to college to just be like a research assistant, but you know, here I am. Doing a bunch of research and not getting paid for it. So that is definitely, Jeremy, something that we are going to be talking a lot about is just different types of lore. And if you check out our podcast, we've got, I forgot what we have up now. We've done vampires. We've done research on like some haunted theaters. I love researching haunted places. I just did the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone, Arizona, which I was super excited to research. I've heard so many stories about it, and I actually want to go. I don't know who all's listening, but does anybody have any places on their bucket list that they would like to visit, you know, haunted places or places that are big for lore? Because I know I've got probably 50,000 places that I want to go.
Camera's back.
Thanks, Jeremy. He said, welcome back. I know, we've been gone for a little while. So, do you have any places that you would like to go investigate or visit, I should say, Ethan?
As far as investigating or visiting, I'm back.
What happened?
Well, I just had to run over here.
Oh.
Yeah, no, as far as places that I'd like to investigate, I mean, I certainly would like to do the local Civil War battlefield.
Oh,
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. I definitely feel like there is a lot there. Because there was a lot of negativity that went on there, so I do definitely feel like there's some lingering energy and activity hanging around.
Yeah, absolutely. And with with my credentials, I probably couldn't investigate. But with 765's credentials and the smooth talking, is it Tiffany that does this?
We love Tiffany. She's a
smooth talker, right?
She's our everything. She is our big researcher. She's the one who does everything, you know, which everybody in the group does so much. We all work really well together. But she's definitely the one who is like getting us into places. She is all that in a bag of chips, that's for sure. We love our Tiff.
Right, yeah, she's I haven't dealt much with her, but
you haven't? Have you met her?
Yeah, no, I met Tiffany.
Have you met Tiffany?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my experiences, I think.
I don't remember who you've met in the group. If you haven't.
If I haven't, I feel like I have.
But so the battlefield would be like your top place to visit.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd probably be one of the tops. I'm tagging some people in our Facebook, that way we can get them.
That'll work.
Get them in the conversation.
The Lizzie Borden house. I want to go. That is on my bucket list. I will go to the Lizzie Borden house before I die.
Lizzie Borden?
Yes.
Why is that?
I'm gonna word this so I don't sound weird. The story to me is very interesting. There we go. And I want to go to Salem.
Salem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear there's a lot of stuff up there.
I want to go to Salem.
Why is my... Oh, okay, there it is. I'm going to get Lauren in on this, too.
What? Okay. Wow. Where is that?
All right, we are gonna have to do some Google real quick.
I know.
I'll
Where
pull it
is
up on my
that?
phone. Komodo Island.
That
Komodo is
That just sounds
land.
fun. I'm gonna go there.
Um,
The way it sounds.
right. Oh wait, is that where the Komodo dragon? That's the same thing, right?
I don't know.
Well, there's actually a picture of it too. Look, Komodo dragon. Yeah, it's got the Komodo National Park that covers the entire region and is home to more than 4,000 dragons. I'm assuming Komodo dragons.
Oh my goodness.
It's made of rusty red volcanic hills, savanna, and forest. Its surrounding waters of seagrass beds, mangrove, shrublands, and coral reefs are famous for diving.
Wow.
Now, is there a lot of lore or haunting type stuff going on over there? Hey, Justin's joined us. I should have tagged him like 45 minutes ago, or 30 minutes ago, or no, an hour ago.
I know Mom's not on here anymore, so I could say that he's the real MVP who showed up to this this live that we're doing right now.
Oh, your mom just came in to do the laughing emoji and leave. That's all she was here for.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Justin, what you've missed so far is we've been discussing our ghost experiences and which mine was the one that you're very familiar with, the experience of the Fowler jail. So
I'm just so glad that Justin's here. We are at the Evil on Erie doing it. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys get tons of good stuff. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys
well,
get
there
tons of good
you
stuff.
hear it now. There's actually a live investigation going on right now. So if they're live on Facebook, you should leave our podcast and go to them. No,
I don't know if they're doing
stay
a live
here.
investigation. I think they are just he's probably taking a break. But no, that's awesome. I'm super excited for you.
Yeah,
I will see you in August.
Yeah, August 17th. So,
Jessica!
Fowler.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, Fowler jail can't.
Yes.
That's gonna be awesome.
Who said Ethan was going?
Hey, don't be selfish.
I know the biggest it's funny because he was like this big skeptic, and now it's like if I leave to go on an investigation without him, he's really upset about it. Like he's really, because I just went on one 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Something like
However
that. What long ago? But you left me here.
And he was so sad because I was going on an investigation without him.
I'm gonna straighten the camera out a little bit.
Is it correct? Oh, am I like way?
No, you're not way off, but just enough to.
Just enough.
Just enough.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
So, okay.
Now he's
I'm
back
back.
again. Awesome.
Yeah, no, the Fowler jail is that was an awesome place. Yeah, oh, Bell Witch Cave for sure. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So looks like we may have a future guest talking about cryptozoology.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm telling you, the real MVP over here. And Jeremy, we are actually talking about, you need to watch us on the live that we're doing, not this Monday, but next Monday with Rune and the Moon, and you may see some of the stuff that you've brought up on here on that video we're doing.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And Justin, just so you see it,
I'm telling you, he was so excited that I brought him home shirts.
My haunted Fowler right
so
there.
Excited.
Oh, hang on. Let's
I know. Let's just promote like one of my favorite places in the world for a minute.
On the mic. How's that look on the camera?
I can't tell.
The camera's
it looks good.
Yep. Amazing. That's the Fowler Theater in Fowler, Indiana.
I'm telling you, it's one of. I mean, I will promote this place forever, just because like I said, I love this place and I love the people who are there.
Speaking of, I'm actually going to tag Stephanie on this too.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about her like nobody's business to go around, haven't we?
Yeah.
No, we've been getting Stephanie all the props here.
Yeah, we've been.
Aliens and shape-shifting, that's what I researched. Now, we're going to have to set up
if you're already doing the research on a lot of that stuff, I mean, that's awesome. You know, it's going to be good to have a knowledgeable guest on, because I mean that's really, as far as a lot of
Sure.
the guests, we want to have somebody with a lot of experience. So with the Fowler, Indiana stuff, man, the jail, it's a bit of a hot spot, I think, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank
All right.
you, Jay.
Thanks for joining us, buddy. We'll have fun at your
yeah, y'all
investigation
get
that
some
you're
good
doing right
stuff.
now. So,
And it's stuff like this that I wish we could just, just go to everything, but we can't.
right, yeah. Yeah, see, being about 5 hours away from that paranormal group kind of puts a damper on being able to.
It does make it hard just because, or even if we go places, we could be traveling, to different states. And because I went to Ashmore Estates in...
You know what? How was... That's Illinois, right?
Don't ask me questions like that.
I think it's Illinois. Okay, well, anyways, how was your trip there?
My trip, driving or my experience at Ashmore Estates? My experience at Ashmore Estates was great. I actually, unfortunately, had to leave early. I didn't get any sleep. I think I had filled up on probably 6 energy drinks and a buttload of coffee.
Yeah, you got home at what, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
I did. I will never do that again. I drove all the way there. We stayed the night, and then we went and investigated, and then I drove all the way back. I had no sleep. It was rough.
What was the investigation like?
This place is phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing. Okay, preface, I'm a scaredy cat. I get that. But this place was creepy. I had certain feelings in certain areas that I had never felt before, of just being, it's like I was being watched constantly, and it was not a good being watched either. And different people I've noticed have different experiences in different places, especially in different areas of certain places, but I will say I think we were on the 3rd floor, and it was creepy. It was super creepy. I wasn't a fan of the basement either, or the basement. It was more of the ground level. But it's a phenomenal place to go. They do public investigations. That's actually what we did. With 765, we did a public investigation, and we got to talk to people about the equipment that we use, and we give everybody their own equipment to use.
Right.
And it's so cool because we had a group. We had a great group, we really did, and just hearing all the different experiences. And there was somebody there. I forgot how old he was. He was younger, but he loved this stuff. He reminded me of my brother, just a younger version, which was really cool. But he was so just into this investigation. And I will say, kind of off topic of what we're talking about, but that's one thing that I love about this, is that you get to see different people enjoying so much of this, and people who really just pour themselves into this.
Right.
But no, Ashmore was a really good place to go. I wish I could have stayed for the entire investigation, but it was really cool.
No, I believe that. And we see that Stephanie has joined us.
Hi, Stephanie. We've been talking about you. Good stuff.
Yeah, we've been throwing out, as I call it, Lune in the Rune, I guess, is what I said the first time. It was a tongue twister, but we've been talking about your Rune in the Moon and talking about tarot cards. And actually, if you've got a second, a little while ago, Jeremy had told us about a story where his wife or girlfriend or fiance, whichever, I'm not sure what your
I know we are not about to butcher
significant
that.
other. His Jeremy's significant other had they had the house that they was it the house that they lived at?
Oh gosh, it was on Cedar Street.
Okay, so it was on Cedar Street. She constantly felt cold and clammy presence around her, and she was thumbing through the tarot cards that night, and that's whenever I guess she had the cold and clammy presence around her, and she was in pretty rough shape over that. So do you have any explanations on, from your professional opinion, why she may have felt such a big negative energy.
Because I did say you were like my guru, like you're my go-to for stuff like this for sure.
Right. Yeah, we had and she may have actually left the live stream. I'm not sure.
Oh gosh.
But if you're still there, we'd love to hear some of your input from there, or on that. So, but anyways, the point of interest, we'll talk about the Mothman. Man, you got all kinds of different types of lore that you look
I'm
into.
super excited. I know we might have to use a guest on multiple ones, not just one.
Right. Featuring Jeremy on the Mothman. Featuring Jeremy on the Komodo dragons. Featuring Jeremy on the shapeshifters.
Yep.
And so on and so forth. Yeah, that's might be a popular guest, along with your brother.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, I'm like super stoked about this, and I'm really glad that we got to do this live tonight for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's been fun so far. We're gonna in future live streams that we do, we're gonna find out different ways to have a little bit more fun. It's gonna take some creative juice, I guess, to figure out different things that we can do to make this fun. But we just enjoyed the talking, really.
Absolutely, especially with, and just hearing other people's stories and opinions, I think is so cool. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this live, is so we can get that feedback, and we can get people involved, so we can talk more about it, which is really fun.
Right, absolutely.
Because I talk to him every day of my life, so.
All the time. She doesn't talk to me, she talks at me.
Whatever. You're my best friend. That's what best friends are for.
Because you're my best friend.
But no, I don't know. We'll have to go on like creepypasta or something and talk about.
Creepypasta?
Yeah, it's like
Sounds
awesome
disgusting.
guys, great podcast. Definitely entertaining. Yay! I'm glad we are entertaining. That makes me happy.
What? Well, hang on. We need some like immediate feedback. How are we entertaining? Like details. We need details so we know what to keep doing and what to stop doing. Right?
Well,
no?
I
Yeah?
want to make it clear that we rearranged our entire living room for this podcast tonight.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. We had got some new furniture, really to be able to do our podcast a little bit easier. And then we came home and we had already had it set to where we were going to start this at 8 o'clock, but we ended up starting at 8:30 because somebody decided the whole house needed, which she's over there, you can't see her, but somebody decided that we had to completely rearrange the entire, not even just living room, but I mean, it was mainly the living room.
Yeah, no,
but
it was just no, because I added furniture. Okay, I did the kitchen too. Okay,
yeah,
I did 3 rooms in the house.
Yeah, so 3 out of 6 rooms. So she felt it was necessary to rearrange half of the house. Hey, Lauren, what's up? Represent. See, haunted Fowler. But anyways, she felt it was necessary to rearrange the entire half of the house for this podcast. And just a nice little tidbit to add in there, we're not even sitting where we were going to start the podcast.
No, because I didn't like how it looked.
Yeah, we literally picked this location about 5 minutes before the podcast started. So, yep. Well, I'm simply, Jeremy says that she makes the decisions. You are simply the mule. And you are absolutely right. That's why I have learned and been trained very thoroughly on Yes, Dear.
My dad taught you that lovely line.
Yes, he did. He did a really
Yes,
good
dear.
job. Yes, dear. So.
My parents have been married for 25 years?
A long time.
That's
93.
Why. That's why.
26
93
years.
Oh, I thought you were saying 93 years. I was like, how old do you think my parents are?
That's the year, so it's been 26 years.
That'd be a whole new
topic. It's 25 years last year, which I guess if it's 26 years this year, then that would make sense.
And this is why he's the favorite, because he remembers this stuff when I don't.
That's right.
That's why he's the favorite. But no, oh my goodness gracious, no. I'm trying to think of, anything else. We've definitely gotten off the tangent here of ghosts.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, if there's, don't know what my voice did just then. If there's any other topics that the chat would like to get involved in, feel free to submit that in the chat before we, kind of get off of here because we're not far off from it. So if we don't have a whole lot more to talk about, we may end up closing out the live feed. But while we got a minute, though, I do want to say, if you're just joining us, please make sure that you've liked our Facebook page, that one show with the Newmans. We are trying to do frequent podcasts. We've had some issues. All right, Jeremy.
Awesome. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it. We really do.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Jeremy, for joining us. We'll definitely chat soon.
Yes.
But if you haven't already, make sure that you like our Facebook page, and make sure that you're following us because we are going to be having more frequent podcasts. We've gotten new equipment and new software and all kinds of stuff set up to where we can do these podcasts now. We're just kind of gung ho now about it because we've got the necessary equipment to do it.
That and I have stepped out of my comfort zone significantly doing this. So if I ever seem like weird and awkward and nervous, it's because
she's going back into her comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm going back into my safe place. Like that's where I'm going back to my safe place because that's where it is.
But turtle enough for the turtle club. Turtle. Yep, that just happened.
But no, this is way out of my comfort zone, but we have gotten, some really good support. You have been my biggest support doing this. So,
because you're my best friend.
These will definitely be more frequent. We will definitely be doing these. I'm hoping we can do a live once a week, and I'm hoping we can do a podcast
once or twice.
Once or twice a week is our goal.
Yeah, see.
Don't hold us to that, but that's our goal.
Yeah, we really want to make like the Do You Believe in Ghosts episode a live every once a week. I mean, we may end up changing it up a little bit and doing something a little bit different, but I mean, we can build off of this every week. I'm sure, especially if we've got a good viewing audience that can get involved because again, this is a crowd-based show, so. And another thing, too, and I'm just going to flat out go ahead and ask, if you are a subscriber to our podcast and you're following us, please, take a moment and look into possibly supporting us through our Anchor channel. All that should be on our Facebook. But, it can be, whenever you support a podcast, you allow the podcast to be able to invest in itself. It could be a contribution of 99 cents a month, $4.99, and I think $9.99. I think there's 3 different tiers. So if you're really enjoying this podcast and you want to help us out and help us get some more equipment, better equipment, because I need to get a mixing board and another microphone for the missus over here. Hang on, come here, hon.
What?
Let me show you what we do whenever we do a podcast. We have to share the mic like this.
We get really, really personal with this microphone.
Yeah, so help us stop doing this.
Or, I steal the microphone, and then he's trying to steal the microphone back. So... But no, we do this because we love doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is not something that we, I guess, went into thinking we're going to make millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not trying to become millionaires with a podcast.
This is just something that we, enjoy doing.
Right, absolutely.
Just kind of like, like my photography. It's something, I don't make money off of it. I genuinely enjoy doing it, and that's kind of what we've done with this.
Like me being a book author. Lord knows I haven't made a lot of money off of that. I mean, I've sold like over 1,000 copies, but I sell it dirt cheap. I mean, I ain't doing it to get famous. I ain't doing it to make a lot of money. I do it because I enjoy it. So.
And that is one thing that we do kind of, I guess, pride ourselves on is that we always do our shows with 110% behind them. Just because it is something that we love doing, and it's something, especially like for me, certain subjects that we will talk about, I will be very passionate about in a sense, just because I'm a very strong believer in certain things.
It's just very passionate.
Oh yeah, I get loud. Like I get loud. Like I talk with my hands. I feel like I've been fiddling around with my hair.
If we get on any sort of topic, if she gets passionate about it, I'm like, babe, stop yelling at me.
I think it's a cultural thing.
Cultural thing? What culture are you from?
Well, I do have German in my blood. Germans
I'm
are
like,
loud.
I'm like half German.
Well, I don't know what half you came from, but not the same half I did. No.
You must have came from the Herman half. No.
I did. No, the Elshides are very loud. We are very loud talkers. That's just who we are. Unless we're doing a podcast, and then Ethan's having to adjust the volume on the parts that I speak.
Oh man, yeah, that's one of the biggest things. Hey,
Ashley.
Joined. This is my niece.
No. She is, no. You are like a sister. That is exactly what it is. You're like a sister, not a niece, because we're so close in age.
If you go through the whole marriage thing and the way that it's set up, the relationship, technically she's my niece, though she's just a few years younger than me. But it's all part of it, I guess. You don't have to call me Uncle Ethan though. Don't worry about that.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
So.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
But yeah, and Ashley, she's skilled in makeup. She sells a ton of makeup.
Really, really good.
Yeah, so.
I know. I'm gonna hire you to do my makeup before we come on podcasts like this.
Yeah, Ashley, throw in your page in the chat so we can advertise you. We got you.
No, we don't. I guess we don't have like a spot for advertisements, but I'm all for because we are doing this almost as like I guess you could call this like our business, like our family business together.
Yeah, that we don't make anything on.
But we love you too.
Yeah, for those of you who who can't see the chat, she says she loves us and we're crazy.
We are,
Absolutely.
We're spunky when we get together. But I love supporting other businesses and other people who are working for themselves and who are doing things for themselves because they're passionate about it and they love doing it. That is a huge reason why we do this and I do my photography. Because we have a passion for that.
We're doing it all wrong though. We're not trying to make any money at all.
I am a firm believer in if you do something and put 110% into it, it's gonna come back to you. So I do have faith in that. So
Right. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, we do actually have slots in our podcast for sponsors.
Yes.
In fact, we're in the process of getting matched with certain sponsors for whatever reason. Which the cool thing about that is we get to we get to record our own little advertisements, so that's going to be super fun.
I get to record a jingle.
Yeah, we can do. Oh man, you wait. We are gonna have like your classic like '90s radio.
No, it's gonna be
jingle.
like your classic like '50s jingle, like finger waves and all.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, that's gonna be fun once they finally get us set up with our sponsor. My luck, it's gonna be some sort of like erectile dysfunction medication.
My gosh.
But that'll be really fun to do an advertisement for.
No, that would not be. Well, it'd be like that episode of Supernatural where Sam had to do that.
Yeah.
And for anybody who watches Supernatural, we will probably reference that show more than anything else in the world.
Oh man,
it's our favorite.
Yeah, that's one of our we've binge watched it for like the past 6 months, I think.
Yes, and we're almost caught up. So do not give us any, please. Do not.
Yeah, no spoilers. But we. Just a heads up on where we're at. We just watched the Scooby-Doo episode, and holy cow, that was epic.
Phenomenal. But no, I do have a good question while we're sitting here talking about Supernatural. Because watching, yes, I totally understand it's a show.
Your hand pops up every now and then.
But, sorry. But has anything that you've seen in the show make you go, maybe that makes you think a little bit differently about certain things, or does
Oh,
it make
man.
you more of a skeptic of like,
Well,
okay, that's a little far-fetched, and maybe what I believe is far-fetched too. Like,
well,
you see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying, and the way I feel about Supernatural is the show. Really, a lot of, I mean, aside from the lore, but like on the religious side of it, there's a lot of stuff on there that makes a ton of sense to me. You know, I mean, it's just like, that's kind of how I thought it worked. You know, that's which, I mean, obviously that's from a whole group of people collaborating. There goes the video again. So sorry, our video just died. Let me do something real quick.
I know, our camera keeps dying, you guys. It happens. It's probably gonna keep happening. Like well, we've had some really weird stuff happen since we started doing this podcast. So.
Yeah, it said it was fully charged too.
Which I make jokes all the time because my Nana she told me that she was gonna come back as a pigeon, because some people do believe, you know, that they will come back as something. And my Nana, she was very spunky, like very spunky, a little too spunky for some people. But she always said she was going to come back as a pigeon so she could poop all over our cars and, you know, poop all over our stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I always make jokes, like when something, because I have a shelf in our house that's got, like my stones and crystals on it. And I believe they have been moved. Everybody else has tried to tell me that something else has happened to them. I don't believe it, but okay. That's fine. But I believe that they have been moved around, and I always say that it was either my Nana or your mother who was moving my stuff in our house. Because the two people that I know that would mess with my stuff would be your mom as a joke and my Nana as a joke.
Right. And that's funny that you mentioned, you know, she said she'd come back as a pigeon. Well, I was talking to my mom one day before she had passed away, and I said, "How are you going to let me know that you're here? You know, if you do, you know, if all that stuff works that way, how are you going to let me know that you're around?" She's like, "Well, I'll just do I'll be a butterfly." And I was like, "No, no, Mom. You know, there's." I know a few people already who, you know, the butterfly's the go-to thing. You know, I'm like, why don't you do something different so I really know that it's you, something uncommon. She said, okay, you know what, I'll do a blue jay. And it was, maybe a week or two ago?
It was a cardinal.
No, there's a blue one though too.
Oh, was it a blue jay that she said?
I think it. Oh man.
No, it was a cardinal.
Okay.
It was a cardinal.
That's right.
Because
okay, so yeah, it was a cardinal.
hung around.
Yeah.
While we were outside playing with the kids. I think we were outside with Kinsley.
Yeah, and this cardinal it was just hanging out with us. May as well have been drinking a beer.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, it was just hanging around, and I mean, it would just kind of bounce from like place to place to place, and it was really cool. And we have like one cardinal that hangs around the house all the time.
Yeah, I think the cardinals actually set up a nest in one of those bushes right next to the driveway. So that's
yeah.
So, but that's probably that's my mom.
But no, you know, and I probably.
So.
Hey, I think for such a beautiful soul, I think a cardinal's pretty fitting.
Oh, absolutely.
And I do, I believe that our loved ones send us little gifts from time to time with stuff like that, and and I definitely think that your mom is sending us that cardinal hands down. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah,
so.
I agree.
But no, that kind of brought me onto the pigeon.
Right.
I'm so glad your mom's was a cardinal, not a pigeon, so she could come back and poop on all of ours.
Oh man, I'm glad she didn't say pigeon, because since this may very well be her that came back, she would have come here as a pigeon, and she'd be crapping all over our stuff.
That's so funny.
So, but yeah. Anyways, we're an hour and a half into this live stream.
We are.
So I think where we're at right now, we're gonna go ahead and cut everybody loose. Again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We've had a blast.
Yes, and we are so sorry for all of the technical difficulties that we have had tonight.
Yeah, we'll do better. We'll do better next time.
Well, I'll make sure that my camera is completely charged.
Right. So Again, if you haven't already, be sure to go and like our Facebook, follow us. That way you can make sure that you get the notifications when we go live.
Check out our podcast. We are actually on Spotify as well, so you can just type in That One Show with the Newmans on Spotify, and it'll pull our stuff right up.
Apple Podcasts, we're on there too. Anchor FM, we're on there. I think there's 2 others, but I can't think of them, so they're probably not that popular. But you can just Google us or search us in whatever podcast provider you listen to. And I think that's all. And this has been a live, eerie episode of That One Show with the Newmans.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and y'all have a good night.
Thank y'all so much.